Hello and welcome to the East Flampeter Township Public Meeting. All participants are now informed that this meeting is being recorded. This meeting is also being offered virtually utilizing Zoom, which is a cloud-based platform for remote video and audio conferencing. The Zoom application is free to the public. The general public is therefore able to join the meeting by connection through the internet or by calling in by phone. The public is also able to observe the meeting on the township's YouTube channel. Please continue to check the Township website calendar for any updates related to these public meetings. Agendas for these public meetings will also be available on the Township's website. Please be reminded that this meeting is being video and audio recorded and will be posted to the Township's YouTube channel for viewing. The meeting will now proceed with the chairman calling the meeting to order and identifying all other members present in the meeting room and those joining the meeting via Zoom. The chairman will then confirm those members joining by Zoom can be heard.
Okay, so is that it? Okay, good. Well, yes, I'd like to call the meeting to order. I guess I need to identify everybody. So we've got Joel Bear, Chris Chrétien, Diane Tyson, and Frank Hollingsworth as the members of the board. And we have our assistant township manager, Kara Hitchens, and Charlie Thomas as our
Public Works Director.
Public Works Director. Thank you. Okay, has everyone read the minutes of the meeting from last month? Anybody? I hear a motion. Okay, a second?
I will second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Public concerns or comments? Okay. Reports of recreation?
As far as I don't really know what's going on with my, I imagine they're about done. I've been out of it myself, but I see that during the tournament, so I imagine pretty much baseball's over unless they have a summer schedule or coming into the fall. I think most of the teams, I saw they played some of the midget games over here at Glory Field. There were a couple of they played there. CD, a couple, at least one of the CD made it, so they played some of the games there. Okay. But other than that, I think they're all eliminated at this point. Yeah, girls are still using back there once in a while for practice, but that's about. Yeah, usually around all this, we'll start receiving the liability insurance for the fall ball league. So I'm expecting Chris and myself to receive something on that.
Okay, grounds, buildings and trails.
Just a couple items. Working on the exercise equipment. Every time we tried to do something, of course, it would rain. But we are in the process of repairing the exercise equipment around the trail.
So,
The Conestoga cleanup has been canceled for the season, for this year. We were going to try to do something in August, but schedules just didn't work for all the cleanup sites, so they just canceled it, and we'll go back at it in 2022. On another note, I notified PennDOT. I don't know how many. I know Gibbons Park isn't open to the public, but there's a lot of debris and trees against the bridge on Route 340. And that's a PennDOT bridge. So I notified PennDOT the other day. In case you see any activity down there, they'll probably be down either in the park trying to get it out or with a crane over the bridge to try to clean that up. It's starting to back up a lot of debris. Other than that,
I'd like to say one thing, to accommodate Charlie and his crew, that the balance beam that I talked about that was leaking, a week later, a couple days later, it was knocked off. And today I did my walk, and it's pretty well finished. Or close to
yeah, he's got to
finished.
let the concrete set up a little bit more because when he went to pour it, it rained and we had mud in the
But
holes.
that's really quick to accommodate you guys.
Thank you. I'll pass that along.
And my son went to pass on to Troy and the group too about, he paid little girl, take all the parks, all these and Langley County. They said this is their favorite park to come to. It's well kept. They really enjoyed coming here. They thought they live in Upper Lake Top down from around. Loves coming.
It's always good to
It's
know.
always clean and well kept, he said.
Yep, it's always good to know. There was one last thing that I will have the calendars that I gave everybody copies of in June, May or June of all the rentals. the calendar will be updated and I'll have a copy for everybody in September to see where we're at.
Okay.
I have a suggestion, I was at the park on 4th of July, and I was at the tot playground, and there was a family that was in one of the pavilions, and then about 1:30, an older couple came and drove their car right up to there and started unloading stuff. And the family that was kind of camped out in the pavilion, had some issues, and I right away just knew what was going on. It was somebody that rented it, somebody else kind of camped out ahead of time. And so I kind of waited to see how things, because the couple were elderly. They were probably in their 70s at least, drove the car right up to unload their stuff.
They shouldn't be driving down in there.
Well, they shouldn't have, and I was, but looking at their age and, they pulled out right away as soon as they unloaded. And it wasn't wet or anything, but the people that were camped out there, the woman had asked, notified the people that were there, and it was grandparents and a couple kids and everything that, they had rented the pavilion, and they were kind of getting a little huffy. So I went over because I didn't want to, I didn't want these elderly people to be, been out of shape, or I didn't want anything. So I identified myself as a park board member and asked, what if there was a problem or whatever. And the younger guy that was there camped out was kind of like, well, we had no way of knowing that this was rented and blah, blah. And I, took him around the side and showed him the little green paper. If there's a way when we get the signage made or something, from the prison people, I'm just wondering if we could have like a reserved sign, and it could be something that it's like you flop it up when it's not reserved, and then you just pull it down, so it's more identifiable and, facing the parking lots, so that somebody else maybe wouldn't camp there. And this was like at 1:30, and they had the pavilion rented from, reserved from 1 o'clock till dusk. So they were well within their rights of being there, but, the other people that camped out ahead of time really, it was difficult for them to know that it was reserved. I mean, it wasn't very obvious that there was that it was spoken for. So I think we could probably serve the public better if we had a way to identify that as being, and it's probably just a simple, just a reserve sign. Like I said, you could just pull it up when it's not, flop it down when it is.
Where were you thinking of hanging it?
Excuse me?
Where would you hang it? 'Cause
Just
if-
on one of the posts, or,
But if it gets out-
just something it's
Yeah.
almost like where the thing is at now. Like you just hang, it doesn't have to be big, but just enough that you could see it. I think more from the parking lot side, because nobody would, there's just, I don't think, and when you looked at it and how small it was and to read it and everything, it just was not very,
We put bigger stuff in there before and it just blew down every storm. That's why we kept getting smaller, so it fit on the beams. But we can definitely look into
well, I'm
it.
thinking something, like that's wood that would just etched out to say reserve, and it can just plop up and plop down. Like you don't have to do anything except, snap it up and snap it down when it is, whatever.
I can look into it. Yeah.
Just so it's more identifiable. Because it might have prevented that from happening. I might not have either. You just never know. Because, there's no time, you wouldn't necessarily have a time limit on, there, but at least it might have made them go to a picnic table or something somewhere else in the park. And that, and that's what I said, there's picnic tables down below. I mean, the ones up above are all pretty much filled with the July. It was busy.
Were you thinking that instead of what we do, or
No,
addition
in
to?
addition to, something that would be.
Because I could go in there and flip it on reserved and say, well, I just reserved it.
Yeah, no, I would do it in addition to what you're already doing.
Some people tear them open, throw them in the trash can already too.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. I saw one park I was at, I don't know if that would be anything or not, they have a big one at the entrance that have a big thing, and they have like a big board, and they have listed on their calendar, and they have each pavilion listed on that calendar. Like kind of like a thing we have there, what pavilion you rent each day.
Yeah,
When
that
they
might
rent
be
it, they put it
another
on, they
way.
put like this pavilion rented, this day, just put rented, reserved or something. Get where that would make
Probably have
sense.
to get a
I
permit.
mean, the one thing that would do
We
is,
probably have to get a permit to put the sign up.
Probably, yeah.
yeah. I mean, the other thing I was thinking about was I was trying to think of how you do that, but I mean, the one thing would be is if you posted the rentals like for the week or something.
They're posted daily. And we have somebody go in, if it's rented Friday night, somebody's in Saturday morning cleaning up and they take the rental
They come
card
down.
off and the other one's right underneath of it.
They have three.
Then if it's
Friday,
rented
Saturday,
for
Sunday.
Sunday, they're in Sunday morning, take the Saturday rental off and the Sunday's hanging there.
Yeah, there's 3 clipboards there, each one on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, I haven't noticed it. I haven't gone up there for years, so it's like, but that's not unusual.
I'll look into this. Types of signage we can do for the pavilions. Yeah.
All right. Good. Anything else, Charles?
I don't.
All right.
How much-
Anybody else have anything for Doug's building?
How much wind damage the other day? I see it broke them, picking them up that one next to the bathroom, there, the lower bathroom. Community the other day.
Not sure. It's become general maintenance for the guys with the
Yeah.
storms that we have
It's
through.
just
It's-
crazy. The other night there, I saw my wife, a big limb blew down there up that tree, cracked right off.
Yeah, I know, I've noticed that. It seems like there's more damage each year. than I
A lot of
remember.
those old trees we're trying to keep alive because of that.
Yeah,
The leaf scorch.
yeah, 'cause it
disease,
seems like what's, and it just seems like even just like a normal rainstorm, it seems like there's, half a dozen decent sized sticks and limbs laying
Yeah.
on it. So,
Are the lantern flies as bad this year?
Charlie really hasn't talked to me about it. I mean, they're around,
Yeah.
definitely around.
I didn't know if they were
But
quite
he
bad.
didn't feel, the last time I spoke with him, he didn't feel as they were as bad as last year because we treated the trees last
Yeah.
year and then treated them again in the spring, and he's thinking that helped. Time will tell.
they don't seem anywhere near as bad as they were.
Yeah, they're not in my yard either.
They're all west of here now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still some around, but it
Come
doesn't
through.
seem near as bad.
Yeah, it doesn't seem anywhere. I mean, yeah, doesn't seem anywhere near. Okay, good. Any other reports, nothing else? Okay, old business. With Hutch not being here, do we know anything about any progress on the Sydney Regional Recreation?
We do, actually.
Oh, good.
Upper Lake Hawk, the school district and East Lampeter got together and chose a peer consultant for the regional recreation plan. DCNR is now working to finalize that person, who is Daphne Clark. She is currently a recreational director in the Reading area and is a graduate of Lampeter Strasburg High School.
Oh,
So she'll be helping us out. We will need to look at a steering committee made up of representatives from each township and the school district. Now, this will be a board of supervisors decision, but they would, appreciate input from the park board, or if a park board member is interested in serving on that steering.
I would be interested in serving on some grant steering committees.
I know, I mean, I guess the only thing I can add is, I know Diane's had the history, the long-term experience with it, and, I would certainly recommend her.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, so, the rest of, I don't know how the other board members feel, but just I personally know that Diane has been papering in the shadows here for a long time. And, I know she knows the history. That would really be helpful.
We will pass that along.
Okay. Good. All right, good. So, yeah, we're making progress here. Okay.
Do you know when she's expected to start? I guess we have a
I won't
start
know
date.
that until DCNR has finalized all of our paperwork.
In a way, I'm kind of glad it might be closer to the fall because you can't really accomplish a whole lot in the summertime, so it's probably better. Is that when the clock starts ticking? Like, when do you know when
Once DCNR finalizes the paperwork and we have the agreement, then the clock starts.
because it's just 1 year, right? I think it's think it's just a year.
Cool.
I believe it is 1 year, but I will have to
And then the
go back.
option is to apply for another grant that's
That's
extended
an
over
extended period of
4
time.
years or 3 or 4 years. I think.
I believe you are correct, but I would have to go back to that agreement.
What's your name with Daphne Clark?
Daphne Clark.
Clark.
KLAHR.
Wow, I was close on that one.
Cool. Well, yeah, what-
Daphne?
Daphne.
I have all her credentials if you want me to scan this and email to
Did we
everybody.
see them last time?
Yeah.
I think I gave everybody a copy
We have
before.
the
Okay, there we go. Yes, I have.
There's a Daphne and a Jason Lang.
Yes,
What's the other
Man,
one?
I don't think I got that stuff. you know.
and I remember saying at the
I'll-
time,
I'll get
wow,
you a
last
copy.
meeting.
I wasn't here yet.
either one of these people would be great. So that's awesome.
I'll
Okay.
scan and email it to you, Chris.
Okay, good, thank you.
Yeah.
First, I've been out of the house in 3 months.
Okay.
Broke my chain.
Any new business? Okay. No, this is, no more public comment. Anybody else have anything you'd like to bring before the board?
And just for the record, there's no public comment received by email either.
Yes, good. Thank you. What else about that? Okay. Do I hear a motion?
I will second that.
Okay, all in favor?
All right.
All right.
Quick.
Thank you very much,
We have a
everybody.
good thing going.
That was a quick meeting.